Hi everyone, it's Dave here. Welcome back to the channel and for another cycling adventure. And this morning I am in mid-Cheshire. The plan today is to do a route of around 25 miles, firstly following the River Weaver downstream as it heads through the town of Northwich. I'll then circle round to check out the popular woodland area of Delemere Forest. It promises to be quite an interesting route, lots of different tracks and trails to explore and some interesting sights too along the way. Let's go! So my starting point today is the former Whitegate station, situated some 3 miles to the northwest of Winsford. It's now a cafe and a car park on the Whitegate Way. But firstly, I'll be heading northeast past Vale Royal Abbey and down into the valley of the River Weaver. The plan then is to follow the river downstream into the town of Northwich. Once through the town, I'll find my way to the famous Anderton Boat Lift, where the navigable River Weaver is connected to the adjacent Trent and Mersey Canal. I'll then follow the canal westerly before finding the river again at Acton Bridge. The plan then is to leave the Weaver behind, heading southwest, up out of the valley, towards the popular woodlands of Delamere Forest. I'll find my way through the forest, skirting around Blakemere Moss Lake, towards the Forestry England Visitor Centre. After a quick pit stop, I'll then be using the off-road bridleway routes of the Oakmere Trail and Whitegate Way to complete the loop. Well, there's actually a really lovely cafe here at Whitegate station, but unfortunately it doesn't open for another 3 hours, so I'm going to head off now. Not along the Whitegate Way at first. I'm going to be heading out of the station car park and along some country lanes towards Vale Royal Abbey and then down towards the river. Wow, some lovely houses down here. Well, that was Vale Royal Abbey, originally the site of a 13th century Cistercian abbey, but now it's a country house, luxury apartments and a very posh, exclusive looking golf club, and I feel far too common to be associated with those folk, so I'm going to carry on heading down this track towards the River Weaver. Oh, can I fit through there? Oh, no. Oh, just about. And here's the river. So the River Weaver flows through mid-Cheshire in a generally northwesterly direction towards the River Mersey, and it's really important in the history of this part of the area, because one of the main sources of trade and one of the main industries in mid-Cheshire is salt. Salt has been mined here for 2,000 years, since Roman times. So in the Industrial Revolution in the late 18th century, the River Weaver here was made navigable as far as Winsford, which allowed salt to be transported on boats downstream towards the River Mersey and Liverpool. 11 locks were constructed, including this one here at Vale Royal. I've used the lock gates to cross over the river, and I'm now going to follow the riverside path north towards the town of Northwich. It's all right. Cheers. So I've passed through the town of Northwich, and I'm now heading up these trails which will take me onto the Trent and Mersey Canal. So I'm saying goodbye to the River Weaver just for a little while, but we'll see the river again where the canal and river join at the Anderton Boat Lift. So I've now made it onto the Trent and Mersey Canal, and just next to me here is a wonderful piece of Victorian engineering. Behind me here is the Anderton Boat Lift, which was opened in 1875, and it provides a 50-foot vertical link between the Trent and Mersey Canal here and the River Weaver navigation down below. So unfortunately I can only see the top of the boat lift here. If you want to see it in all its glory, you need to go down to the River Weaver, and to do that you have to go through the visitor centre, and that's not open until 9:30, so I'm a bit early. So I'll just have to flash up some photos or some footage that I've found on the internet here to show you the true scale of this piece of engineering. So the boat lift was originally designed with two giant tanks called caissons, which counterbalanced each other. So they filled up one with water, which they wanted to make heavier to go down, and that would lift up the opposite caisson and lift up a boat. It was later converted to electricity, so it could be actually operated using pulleys and giant motors. So the river and the canal run parallel to each other now for the next 3 or 4 miles. So I'm going to follow the towpath of the canal before meeting the River Weaver again at Acton Bridge. This is the first of 2 tunnels along this stretch of canal, so on each occasion the path goes over the top of the hill, so bit of an incline here. Oh God. It's a muddy bit. Time to leave the Trent and Mersey Canal behind for a final time and then head down this lane, which will take me back to the River Weaver at Acton Bridge. So now I'm at Dutton Lock, which is another pair of massive locks here on the Weaver navigation. And this is important to the route because I'm going to use the lock gates to cross the river onto the opposite riverbank, which will then allow me to peel off in a southwesterly direction towards Delemere Forest. What a beautiful and peaceful location this is here on the banks of the River Weaver. I've just passed under the Dutton railway viaduct, which you can see behind me. This was built in 1836 and it carries the West Coast main line over the valley of the River Weaver. It's 60 feet high, it's 500 feet long, and there's 20 arches. It really is spectacular to think that's coming up to being 200 years old and it's still carrying one of Britain's busiest and most important railways over the beautiful River Weaver here in mid-Cheshire. Reluctantly, I'm going to have to leave the River Weaver behind shortly, as I'm going to be peeling away, heading in a southwesterly direction through the villages of Croton and Norley as I ascend towards the popular woodland area of Delemere Forest. I'm going to take one last look at the river in this beautiful location and then I'm going to grind out the climb up to Delemere. Let's go. Well, that was quite a climb on those lanes up through the village of Norley in particular, but I've now made it to the forest. I'm here on the edge of Delemere Forest, and now I'm going to enjoy some forest tracks, and I'm going to head towards the Forestry England Visitor Centre, where there's a cafe, so I can get some much needed refreshments. Going to enjoy this next section through the forest. Cheers. Well, I've made it through Delemere Forest and I'm out to the other side, and I'm about to take the Oakmere trail, which will lead us back towards Whitegate station. Now, I've hardly scratched the surface of Delemere Forest there. I just followed the big wide forest tracks to the visitor centre for a much needed drink and cake, and then I headed away. It was very busy. It's early afternoon now on a weekend, so I don't like people, you know me. I like the solitude in these quiet country lanes and bridleways, so glad to be out of that, to be honest. Meanwhile, I'm going to head away from the crowds back into the quiet as I head along the Oakmere way towards Whitegate. So this is the Oakmere way, which links Delemere Forest to the Whitegate way, and there's a off-road route to take me back to the starting point at Whitegate station. It's lovely and quiet along this bit, especially compared to the hustle and bustle of Delemere Forest that I've just left behind. Woo! I'm now back on the Whitegate way, and it's this lovely flat former railway track bed to complete the loop. So I've made it back to Whitegate station and I've completed the loop, and I am knackered, I don't mind telling you. That route was around 25 miles I think, and a lot of it off-road too, so I can really feel it in my legs now. But I've had a fantastic little explore around mid-Cheshire today. The route alongside the River Weaver, I can't recommend that highly enough, especially around Dutton Lock. It's just an absolutely beautiful part of the world. I do wish I could have shown you a little bit more of Delemere Forest. I only really scratched the surface and went through a very small part of the forest park there. And then the amount of people around the visitor centre was insane, so in the end I just headed out of there. But don't let that put you off, because like a lot of these places, and in my experience of going to Delemere Forest in the past, once you get a quarter of a mile, half a mile away from the visitor centre, it's beautiful. Lots of secluded woodland, lots of mountain bike trails to explore. In the meantime, if you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and also, most importantly, leave me a comment. I love reading comments, and I always try and reply to all of them. It's great talking to a lot of you regular contributors and followers. So thanks ever so much for your support, everyone, and I'll see you again soon for another cycling adventure here at Smiles Per Hour. I'm going to go get another cold drink and go and have a nice lie down. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.